Alright, hello everyone, and it's been a bit of an absence for me, but here we are with another video and today's maintenance update, and I have to say, this is one of the biggest ones we've seen in a while. So, what is so big about this one? Well, first of all, what we already knew is going to happen, which is the next raid event, which is a crossover with the Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. Basically, you know, what Global is getting, but I think we're getting better stuff. Anyway, it starts a day earlier than I actually thought, starting on the 19th, which I thought it was going to be on the 20th, given that they said arena changes were happening on the 20th, but I guess the 19th, close enough, doesn't really matter. So, what are we getting in this? Well, of course, it's your standard raid, and Lara Croft is a free unit here too. However, she's a 5-star that goes to a 6-star, but not a 7-star. So apparently we're not getting a 7-star version of her, which kind of makes sense, seeing how 7-stars are working towards, rewards, and they just don't want to do too much. So that's probably why we're not getting 7-star. But Lara Croft is basically useless forever now. So, I mean, she has item drop up and physical evasion, but who cares? You're probably never going to use her, just keep her as a free unit. So, is there anything really that good about her? Well, her DMR is a attack plus 20%, beast killer, and clothes mastery, basically giving her some extra attack. So she might be decent, but I wouldn't expect over 30% given that it's a free unit. Other than that, there's really not much to talk about her, but we are getting some equipment and, there's some okay stuff, particularly the staff, which is 3 attack, magic, and spirit of 68, a light element, and allows you to use a single target light nuke ability. Probably nothing that great, but actually a 68 magic and spirit staff is pretty damn decent if you consider that maybe you have CG Citra and you need a second staff. Well, this is a good one to have. It kind of would balance her out maybe a little bit nicely. Other than that, there's a gun that is two-handed, that is 95 attack and 10 extra in spirit with dark element, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for Vincent. If you have Vincent and you've been needing a two-handed weapon, here you go. Now, the next one is a gun with 60 attack, 40 magic, fire, and two-handed. I'm really not sure who this would be great for. Seems like it would you want to put it on a hybrid unit, but Light Veritas is the only one that kind of comes to mind that's super good with guns, and this is not great because you lose dual wield. You also get an accessory with defense and spirit of 3, fire, ice, thunder resistance of 10, and poison resistance of 50%. Nothing that great, nothing really that super. But, of course, with all of these is a new banner, and we have new units, but they are completely different units than I thought we'd be getting. We are not getting Explorer Eileen, so we'll just have to live with regular Eileen, but that's okay. So, who are these characters? Well, to be fair, I'm not even sure that I know. Oh, hold on, my mouse is glitching a little bit. So, let's talk about these characters a little bit, starting with the... that's weird. I guess I'm going to wait for their names, because right now well, we might end up calling them something different, like Ishire? Ishire, I think? Anyway, our basic 3 to 5-star unit has a TMR with a hat that has attack and spirit of 20 and silence resistance of 50%. Okay. Doesn't look like a hat, looks like a scarf. Okay. I guess it should have just been a scarf on a but I guess we need a hat. Anyway, the limit burst is fire damage and defense break. He's an attacker, he's bird killer, he doesn't matter. He's a cool looking unit, but I'm not really expecting that much from him. Moving on, our 4 to 6-star unit has a TMR with that is an accessory of 40 attack, defense of 3, blind immunity and HP of 10%. Not bad for new ones. For my account, nothing really that exciting there. Blind immunity is usually on a lot of attackers already, so for this to be here, and blind even then is not a particularly scary status effect, so it's okay, but I wouldn't go super hard for it or anything. Other than that, he has a single target limit burst that is defense ignoring fire damage. He can give himself fire immune on his attacks. He can fire in peril. Sounds okay, but I wouldn't expect too much out of him because he is the 4 to 6 star unit. And now we have our 5 to 7 star, who is Korai Shiya. Now, a lot of people have said that she is just basically a recolor of Alma, so I guess for this we can just call her Recolor of Alma. Now, she is our 5 to 7 star unit. She is on her own banner, but something to note is that it doesn't appear to be a step-up banner this time, so much like Elfim, this might not be a super one to go try very hard for. But what about her? Well, first of all, her TMR is actually pretty decent. 20% MP, 40% to Spirit, Auto Protect and Shell. Absolutely great thing for Awakened Rain or any healer, so her TMR is actually pretty darn good. Now, other than that, her Super TMR is actually kind of incredible. Her Super TMR is a hat with 34 defense and 95 spirit and HP of 30% and auto regen. HP of 30% is super nice, but 95 spirit is huge. If you want to hit those missions, that's a great thing to help with the spirit one. That's actually a really big percentage buff for a really big stat for her. Anyway, Super TMR, I actually think this is a really good TMR, Super TMR, but she's not a limited time unit, I don't think. 99% sure, so she'll always be in there. Now, she looks to be a support unit as well. Her limit burst is an AoE all stats, buff, barrier, and high tide. So she could be the next in the CG Nicole Ignis line of being a powerful unit for just buffing your party. She is listed as a supporter. She has an AoE attack buff and high tide, an AoE physical mitigation and regen, AoE all stats buff, cast off own HP, so I guess she hurts herself to help others. She has a double U ability, meaning that she can double cast her abilities. That's pretty good. And in her 7 star, she gets an AoE attack and magic large buff, cast off own HP, unlocks 2 skills. So whatever HP she's hurting herself with is not enough to kill her, it doesn't seem. Otherwise, there'd be no point giving her those abilities. And her 2 unlock abilities are an AoE defense and spirit large buff with regen and barrier, and an AoE defense and spirit break with wind and earth imperil. So she would work pretty well with a wind and earth team. Really going to have to wait to see the stats if this is going to be any kind of unit you should necessarily try for, but as of right now, I'm not super excited for her. And neither should you. But something you should be potentially excited for, we got some 5-star guaranteed banners starting on the 19th, so get at least a little bit excited, you guys. They cost 5,000 Lapiz each, and there are 3 types. We have the attack, defense, and support guaranteed banners. So you are guaranteed to get 1 5-star off of each of these banners in those types. So obviously, the attack pool is pretty big, the support and the defense, not big defenses, pretty good chance of hitting potentially something you want. Attack might be a little bit more difficult, but in general, I would be excited cautionary with these. First of all, it's always nice to get a 5-star guaranteed banner. They are essentially great for being able to get yourself a rainbow guaranteed. But remember, at the end of April, Golden Week is happening, and Golden Week's a big fucking deal in Japan. Now I'm swearing because that's what I want to impress upon you, is the fact that it's a big fucking deal. So I would actually be cautionary about this if you're free to play, because if they're giving us this now, there's potentially something better coming Golden Week. So, you know, exciting, but be careful. Now, the other thing that I am not going to be talking about in this video is the changes to Arena, because that is, look, if we're going to talk about Arena, we're really going to talk about Arena. And Arena changes are so big that they need their own video, as well as I just want to talk about Arena in general. So this is a 5-hour maintenance. There's no surprise there. And this is a really big maintenance, so I would expect something to go wrong this time. So make sure you're using as much stuff as you can. But honestly, if there's going to be a problem this month, if there's going to be a problem in the next little while, it's going to be with this update. This is a big version update, and something's going to go wrong for somebody. So maybe we'll get some good compensation. But we're looking at the collab, as well as the new units, the Arena changes, emblems for Arena ranking, which we'll talk about later, show full skill details. The gil limit cap is being increased as well. Before, it was 100 million gil was the max you could store. Now you will be able to store 200 million gil. Who the hell has 200 million gil? How do you have... Who the fuck has 200 million gil with everything you can throw gil at nowadays? But the other thing that's particularly interesting about this update is the stat cap is being increased. That's right. You heard me correctly. Currently, the problem with the game was that 300% was the stat cap for everything. HP, MP, all of that stuff was capped at a solid 300%. Well, guys, now you have something new to shoot towards, and potentially you will shoot up depending on what you have on your characters already, because, and this is probably meaning a new wave of TMRs and super TMRs. Oh goody, the stat cap will now be increased to 400% per stat. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Something new to shoot towards. I'm sure we're going to see some of your friend units might become more powerful depending on what they want or have. Now, the detail in the caps is also an interesting thing. So stat passives, you know, your attack, your defense, all of that will be 400%. EQ stats, so equipping stuff, will max out at 300% as well. Interesting. EQ stats with dual wield will be capped at 100%. Don't know how you get that with dual wield, but okay. Limit burst per turn will be capped at 12 limit burst crystals per turn. Slayers are maxed out at 300%. Jump damage is maxed out at 800%. Stats from Espers at 200%. Bonus to Esper damage at 300%. And Evo Magic at 300%. So that is all the detailed of the caps for everything in the game. So Alum's making good, at least on their thing for transparency. Although I have to admit, well, if we're going to talk about Arena, we're going to do it in another video. So maintenance on the 19th, get ready for it. 5-hour maintenance, expect problems. Other than that, I will see you all in the next video. Oh boy, Arena talks.